During the weekend, I did stories and I showed you that there were signals that this deal of Manuel Ugarte to Manchester United was like going to hit a dead end, and finally it has gone ahead to hit a dead end until further notice, confirmed by the man David Austin. As far as everything was really concerned, a lot of positivity was surrounding this deal before David Austin came in through, obviously putting this huge shocking story about how United have gone ahead to back out of the deal of Manuel Ugarte. Welcome to the United Matters channel. Good morning, guys. How are you guys? And where are you watching us from? I go by the names of Rock and David. Smash the like button, comment and share. If you're only watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. And it's really a Tuesday, chilly in my country. I don't know how it is in your country, but we're here to bring you the latest news and information as far as everything is really concerned onto this beautiful Tuesday morning. And we thank God for the gift of life, and we thank Allah for the gift of life too. Amrabat has gone ahead, obviously gate a very big share into this story, as United are really looking for options of this deal. But we are going to be really taking you back from the weekend where Fabrizio Romano had gone ahead, obviously give us a hint that this deal was almost hitting what we call a pure dead end into the mix. Let's see close to 300 likes. Smash on this video, continue to subscribe. Lower right bottom corner is the place to be. We want to hit 20,000 subscribers, right? 20,000 subscribers, and when we hit that, that will be a very huge milestone. You know, it's always good to enter a new season like the Premier League when you're really having that milestone of 20,000 subscribers into the mix. United fans all over the world are congregating under under the umbrella of United Matters channel. Now, where did it start from, and where did the signals, where did the signals start to really be showcased about this deal hitting a dead end before we reach to the main story of this deal hitting a dead end? Now, Fabrizio Romano told us on Sunday that negotiations with PSG for Manuel Ugarte could take more time because of financial fair play, and outgoings are really important. Manchester United needs the balance on all these kinds of cases. Ugarte keeps waiting. Ugarte keeps waiting because he had agreed personal terms with Manchester United, and he only wants to play for the club known as Manchester United. He doesn't want to be playing for any other club apart from Manchester United. But PSG is really making it hard for its hefty request to obviously see to it that Man United gets in this player at 70 million euros. Then Fabrizio Romano added on and said Manchester United full focus is on Manuel Ugarte in terms of midfield signings. After that, if they can still spend money on players, Sofian Amrabat is definitely one of the targets. So he said this yesterday on the United Stand evening that Man United full focus is on Manuel Ugarte in terms of midfield signings. After that, if they can still spend money on players, Sofian Amrabat is definitely one of the targets. Meaning that, as we already told you, that United is eyeing to bring in two. United is really eyeing to bring in two midfielders, right? That is Ugarte and Amrabat. Meaning that if we fail to get in Manuel Ugarte, that doesn't mean that you're only getting in Amrabat. We are getting in Amrabat and another midfielder because they believe we should strengthen in that position hugely to obviously match the levels of these teams that we're really competing with. So that was just in the evening, and after some time, when Fabrizio Romano had gone ahead obviously say that, David Austin came through and really broke the story to the world, and this is where the heading of the story comes out that United backs out of the Manuel Ugarte deal. And he said, exclusive, Manchester United switch midfield search away from Manuel Ugarte and onto other options. United don't intend to make 60 million fee plus will only revisit if PSG's price drops. No progress yet, talks cooled, plus exploring other top targets for real deal. Now, this is where I love Ineos. We cannot be ransomed. You get? How can you come out and tell us that you're going to pay 70 million euros for Manuel Ugarte, a player that's not going to have to be used effectively into the squad of PSG, and you anticipated that his price was going to go south, and for them, they even want to get 10 million euros of profit from the amount of money they paid for him from Sporting Lisbon. And this is where I love the team of Manchester United. No ransoming us like they used to do, because we used to obviously have that word known as the United tax. And this time around, they are dealing with a different party altogether. And PSG might not get that amount of money, because there is no club that is even going to get them 60 million euros for this player, because when you look at what they are doing, they've gone ahead to sign 2 midfielders. There is one in the names of there is one in the names of Yao Neves, and there is this other guy they've gone ahead to sign, right? I think from Portugal. Is it Pachuco? Something of the sort. All those are midfielders, and that means that Manuel Ugarte is gonna fall deep into the pecking order. He was not into the starting 11 of Enrique, the manager of PSG last season, and was coming off the bench. And if at all they add on 2, that means he's out of the plans of PSG. And if you're having a player who is really out of your plans, and how do you fail a club like Manchester United coming in through to give you like 50 million euros, and you're saying like add 20 more to get this player? It is like, all right, we are running short of time and we are looking in for alternatives, and the only way we are going to get back to the table to discuss a deal with you is if at all you come up and really tell me and really drop that price, and you're willing to dance to our tunes. And this is what I love about Manchester United. Pulling out is always an option to go to it and really find other players. And by the way, there are very many other players, and the reason as to why I love this pull out is because there is a player that we can easily get in and even play into the Community Shield, and that is Sofian Amrabat. However much we not eat that, it's not going to end on getting in Sofian Amrabat only. We're going to be looking in for other players. But I think the best option is get in Sofian Amrabat first, as you really look out for other options, because he's a cheaper option to get. And if we put in a bid for Manuel Ugarte, then we can do this deal. That is it. We can do the deal of Sofian Amrabat. So United has really backed out of the deal of Manuel Ugarte, and PSG need to obviously sit down and obviously come up with a proper structure of a deal they want. Or else they approach Manchester United on Jadon Sancho and say, let's make a swap, get Jadon Sancho and get us Ugarte. And by the way, that will be really unfair for me, because at first I was like, it's okay to really get in a swap for Sancho and Manuel Ugarte, but Sancho is a more valuable player than Ugarte. Forwards in this world are really more expensive than midfielders. And remember the seasons they had. The last 6 months of Sancho saw him play in the Champions League finale, and he knocked out PSG in the semi-finals. You remember? And it really put out a very good marking ground that Sancho is really more expensive than this guy. Now, look at PSG. They're a team that is really telling us that we're supposed to pay 70 million euros for player Manuel Ugarte, whom I love hugely because I know he has a very huge potential ceiling. Yet, he never really played, or he never really actively took part into the PSG season. And they are calling in for 70. Now, if they are calling in for 70 for Manuel Ugarte, then they should get us 100 million euros for Jadon Sancho, because for Jadon Sancho, he really had a better season than this guy. And I think that's why PSG is afraid of really going into a negotiation right now with Sancho or with Manchester United for Sancho, because they know that United will be like, get us Ugarte and get us some 10 million euros or 20 for Jadon Sancho, because they believe Sancho really had a better season than Manuel Ugarte. And I know the negotiators of this deal will be like, all right, you went ahead and offered how much money? You are calling in for 70 million euros. All right, we've gone ahead to accept it. And for Sancho, we are calling in for 90 or 100, because if a player that never took part actively to the season is costing 70 million euros, what of this one who played in the Champions League finale and really had a very huge impact into the road of Borussia Dortmund to the final? So I think that's why PSG are also wise that they contacted the agent and Sancho, and then they haven't gone ahead to contact Manchester United, because United will call in for more, because they've also gone ahead to call in for an astronomical fee for Manuel Ugarte into the mix. So for me, I'm just waiting to see how things are really going to pan out, but it looks like this deal is really off for now. But we don't know whether United will revisit it anytime from now. Now, Malt he's known as what? Maptez told us that Sofian Amrabat is like an emergency option. They haven't done anything. Like, we are coming in for you. United wants to get Ugarte in. That's why they're working on. Now, the plan was to get Ugarte in and obviously gate in Amrabat later, But this time round, if I'm Manchester United, I obviously go in for Manuel Ugarte. If I'm Manchester United, I go in for Amrabat, because the beauty of getting in Amrabat is he has already gone ahead to show us that he has gone ahead to fit into the system of Erik ten Hag. In the last 5 games of the season, you saw how good he was, and his impact was felt by the opponents, that he went ahead to obviously show his potential into the mix. So, if I'm Manchester United, I hurry up, go to Atalanta, go ahead and really get in this guy, because he's rotting in there for you, as we even got a report that the same thing that happened to him last summer is happening to him even now. And we've been told by we've been told by the United Evening News, or the Manchester United Evening News, that Sofian Amrabat will not make Fiorentina preseason squad for the upcoming friendlies. And he has been doing solo sessions rather than working with his teammates. So that is the current situation. And for me, it's really very worrying for a player like him, because I wouldn't like him to fall a victim of what he was like last season, because he never took part in the preseason, and it took him to obviously gain what we call his fitness levels. And I don't know what we are really going to do. And if I told Manchester United, all what I'm going to do is simple. As we back out of the deal of Manuel Ugarte, let's obviously focus on Amrabat, because his salary, personal terms won't be an issue, and negotiating a deal of less than 20 million euros is really okay for the side of Fiorentina. Remember, they already got ahead, obviously packing 10 in their pockets last summer for the loan, and now we are here to do the needful and obviously tell them, please, can we do a deal, because we can do it swiftly and go to some other players in there for you. I'm hugely worried about that midfield, especially on Saturday when you're going to be playing the side of what is it called? When you're going to be playing the side of Man City. I'm totally worried about it, because I feel that midfield is really going to be an issue as to why we are obviously going to be the losers. Yet, right now, it's a Tuesday. Getting in Amrabat is really easy. If United attack Amrabat today, by evening, it's a here we go. He does his medical on Wednesday. Thursday, he trains with the team on Friday. Saturday, he's into the starting 11 for Manchester United as we play against a team called Man City. That is it. So, and even when you're playing Fulham, Amrabat can really give us a very good shape as we obviously try to plan for what to do for the remaining signings that we're looking at, because it is confirmed that United want to bring in 2 midfielders, right? And a right back and a centre back. We are short by 4 signings. You get, but all those signings depend on to who is leaving the club of Manchester United, right? But I think for Amrabat, it can easily be done, because it's a deal that is really gonna be cheaper, and United never wanted to obviously use the money they have to obviously bid for Ugarte to really obviously take it to the side of Bayern Munich. But they are trying to do the needful, and don't be shocked when they do what they did on Lenny Yoro, because they had agreed personal terms with Braithwaite, and Everton had rejected 2 bids, and United have already gone ahead to make a bid. The first bid was rejected for the guy known as Manuel Ugarte, and they're like, let's pull out. And when they pull out, just know they really have options, and in the next video I'm gonna go ahead and really collect those options and see what options have been lined up for the club of Manchester United to come in through and really put in a shift in there for you. So guys, thank you very much for watching through. I call upon for your reactions into the comment section below about Manchester United back out of the Manuel Ugarte deal. What do you make about it? Do you think it's a wise move or not? And who do you think they should bring in first? Is it Amrabat? Is it Zubimendi? Is it Richard Rios? Is it which other midfielders could we go in for? I know you have a list, and those that you feel like should come in through to act as your faves into the mix at the club of Manchester United. So guys, we thank God and Allah for the gift of life. We sign out for now. See you later. It's been a pleasure talking to you always in the morning. And you know it that when we kickstart it off like this, it's always going to be a jam-packed week. Sorry, a jam-packed day with lots and lots of stories. And we are still here waiting for Here We Go of either Manuel, of either Mazrouhi or Matthias de Ligt. But we know to it that this week, something big is really going to happen because Bissaka might be leaving the club of Manchester United, and his departure will obviously ignite the coming in through of Mazrouhi. And I'm 100% sure that Here We Go is going to be sounded this week, and we might see 1 or 2 players coming in through at Manchester United for medicals, and then revealed when you're playing against Fulham on Friday next week. And by the Friday next week, United might obviously line up like 3 players because we've gone ahead to agree personal terms with very many players, and finally we are going to be getting there. We out. 300 likes on this video. Continue to subscribe because we want to hit the magic number of 20,000 subscribers. Bye bye for now. See you laters.